Good evening. Today is Monday, January 30th, 2023. This is a special meeting and workshop of the Board of Education. Can I get a motion to enter into a meeting? First, Cynthia. Second, Lori. All in favor? Okay, we're going to go into executive session to discuss personnel matter. And we will reconvene at 7:30. So can I get a motion to enter an executive session? First, Lori. Second, Cynthia. All in favor? Great. Thank you. We'll see you in an hour.
All right, good evening. Today is Monday, January 30th, 2023. This is a special meeting and workshop of the Board of Education. We already opened the meeting at 6:30 to go in an executive session, and now we're back for the public session, so the meeting's already open. So that brings us to the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll jump right into our workshop presentation, which is a first look at the budget for next year. I'll get out of your way.
Good evening, Board Trustees and everybody at home tonight. Tonight we present a look at the financial landscape as we prepare to introduce the proposed 2023-2024 Superintendent's budget. As in previous years, our budget presentations will span a number of meetings and workshops. This will allow us to take a deep dive into pricing implications, curricular initiatives, staffing changes, and needs posed by special education, athletics, clubs, transportation, extracurriculars, and the many other types of services our student-centered district provides. I am joined tonight by Ms. Faith Sparks, Business Manager, who will present on the financial landscape. The objective of tonight's presentation is to situate our upcoming meetings in a proper financial context. One of the goals that Ms. Sparks, our administrators, and board take very seriously is to promote financial responsibility and sustainability. Tonight's presentation will provide you with the necessary information as we enter into this budget season. While there is still information that we are awaiting, we will discuss projections and assumptions. This includes assumptions we are anticipating regarding our expenditures, rollover budget, and revenue. We will also provide information about the tax cap, and we will recommit to staying within the mandate. We discuss the financial implications of inflation, so you can understand its impact on our planning. Lastly, we will preview upcoming workshops and presentations on this topic.
This is a preliminary look at the 2023-24 rollover budget. As we look ahead to the expenditure assumptions for the 2023-24 budget, there are still many unknown variables at this time. To maintain full transparency, we will be discussing estimates we are using as we project into the next school year. One of the first assumptions we look at is collective bargaining agreements. 2 of our 3 bargaining units have settled, and 1 is expired June 30th, 2022. Health insurance. The district's main health insurance provider, SwissChip, released their premium increases earlier this month. Premiums will increase 8%. The district's second insurance provider, which we do not have a lot of members on, runs based on a calendar year and increased by 14.17%. While TRS is projected to slightly decrease, the rates for ERS will be increasing to 13.1%. These percentages represent the percent of salaries the district pays into the retirement systems. We are projecting all programming to be maintained. Out-of-district tuition assumptions are based on current enrollments. Inflation and CPI. The December CPI was 8.06, which is the highest it's been in a long time. Well, I feel like I said the same thing this time last year. It still holds true. Our main transportation services contract is currently out for bid, and we will not know the results until February 9th, 2023. The rollover assumes the programming is maintained, and it rolls over contractual obligations, which are for professional services. Debt service, which is our debt amortization, is known, and we are able to project those numbers. We do have a transfer to capital fund. This allows us to do work outside of large capital projects, and we are currently examining this budget line as we anticipate we could reduce it given the current bond proposal. In an effort to be mindful of the effects inflation is having on our taxpayers, we are looking for efficiencies and savings everywhere possible. Unfortunately, the district is not immune to rising energy costs. When we combine increased energy costs with the facilities issues we are facing, it's no surprise we are seeing increasingly high utility and energy costs. We are projecting increases for natural gas. Natural gas powers the STEAM in the middle high school, electricity, heating oil, sewer tax costs, and other maintenance and repair costs. At this time, there are still too many unknowns, and there's still a lot of refining to do with expenditures. We are in the very preliminary stages of the budget development, so you'll see TBD listed up there. To review a little bit about the tax cap, in June 2011, the tax cap was enacted into law and places restrictions on how school districts and municipalities can increase their levies. The first year of implementation was the 12-13 fiscal year, and in the 10 years of the tax cap era, Tuckahoe's tax levy increase has averaged 1.92%. The tax cap is also known as the maximum allowable tax levy permissible under law, requiring a simple majority, 50% plus one, voter approval for passage. It's based on a formula prescribed by New York State. Every school district in the state has its own tax cap figure. It's not always a 2% cap. While calculating the tax cap under the formula, one district could have a tax cap of 1%, and another district could have a tax cap of 5%, and both can be in compliance. The tax levy, which you'll hear us use a lot during budget process, is the total amount of property taxes a school district must collect to balance its budget, after accounting for all other revenue sources, including state aid, and is adopted by the Board of Education when adopting the budget. The most recent published rates of inflation from the New York State Comptroller's Office is 8.06%. The tax cap formula directs districts to use the lesser of 2% or the rate of inflation. So for the 23-24 school year, the district must use 2% as the allowable levy growth factor in our calculation. Even if our expenses are increasing at a rate greater than that, we still use 2% in our calculation. There are two growth factors in the New York State tax cap that are set by the state: the allowable levy growth factor, also known as CPI, and the tax-based growth factor. Last year, we presented a preliminary budget, and I discussed how inflation was at its highest, and here we are again, it's still high. Given that the formula calls for the lesser of 2%, or the rate of inflation, the allowable levy growth factor for Tuckahoe for 23-24 will be 2%. It can never be higher than 2% and never less than 0. And we have no input or control over this factor. The tax-based growth factor is determined by the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance and is the quantity of change based on information provided by local assessors. It measures brick and mortar growth, new construction, or significant additions to existing properties, which increase the size of the tax base within the boundaries of our district. It can never be 0, and it's a minimum of 1.0. So for 23-24, the tax-based growth factor for Tuckahoe is 1.0065. This is an increase over last year's minimum rate of 1.0. And again, the district has no input or control over this number. It's given to us by the New York State Department of Tax and Finance. Another key number in the tax cap calculation is our pilot revenue. So the district has two pilots. One is Marble Hall, and one is the Tuckahoe Housing Authority. And capital exclusions are part of the tax cap calculation. These are expenses for debt, net of building aid. They are allowable expenses to be included in the tax cap. We are still awaiting some preliminary information from the governor, so we do not have any projections on the cap. Revenue assumptions, state aid. The governor has until February 1st, 2023 to release the projected state aid budget, and we heard that she intends to do so on that date. We are hopeful that we will see the continuation of our restoration of foundation aid. As of today, we have no estimate for this aid. Non-resident tuition, we monitor this closely, looking at cohorts by grade and age. While we do not have a crystal ball to predict the future, we can use data we have to make reasonable estimates. Based on current data, we predict non-resident tuition to remain stable. The pilots, this is the second year of the Marble Hall pilot, and we can reasonably project that based on how the pilot was written. And we have a continuation of the Tuckahoe Housing Authority pilot.
So where does this leave us? We are required to have a balanced budget, as we are still awaiting many key factors for our budget development, such as the governor's state aid projection and the transportation bid results. It is too early to present preliminary numbers to you. Our administrative team is working diligently to examine budget areas to ensure we present a fiscally responsible budget while not compromising our strategic plan goals. Here you will see our budget calendar. Tonight we kicked off our series of conversations with a comprehensive overview of the financial landscape. Thank you to Ms. Sparks for your dedication and thoroughness. We appreciated the way you presented the information, and we expect it will help to inform our future conversations regarding budgeting and planning. At our next meeting, I will briefly update the board and community on our priorities and commitments. This will allow you to understand where we are focusing our efforts in the upcoming presentations. At our February 27th workshop, I will provide a comprehensive overview of my proposed budget. I will invite administrators to help answer questions. But if you note, the following two sessions will allow us to dive deeper into each building. On March 13th, we will focus on the middle school, high school. Joining us will be Dr. Linehan and his administrators, Dr. Keogh and Dr. Sweeney. They will provide some more information about our work with the Learner Active Technology-Infused Classroom, curricular initiatives in ELA and math, and changes in standards for science. On April 3rd, we will turn our attention to the elementary school. We will be joined by Mr. Morash, Mr. Kilgallen, Dr. Keogh, and Dr. Sweeney, who will all talk about the work that we are doing in the building and also related programs such as our integrated co-teaching, of course, our literacy, and changes in the standards for science. We will make sure that there are no questions left unanswered at our meeting on Monday, April 18th, where the board will vote to adopt the budget. On Monday, May 8th, the administrative team will present the final budget to the community for a hearing before the annual vote and trustee election on Tuesday, May 16th. Now, just so that you don't forget, lastly, we want to take the opportunity to remind the community about the upcoming vote on our proposed capital project. The referendum vote will take place on Wednesday, February 15th. Information about the project can be found in our mailings, online communication, social media, and website. Please reach out to me or Ms. Sparks with any questions you have regarding the important facilities improvement project. Please don't forget to vote on Wednesday, February 15th. See the little heart? It's the day after Valentine's Day. Thank you for your attention, engagement, and support. We will now open the floor to discussion with the board.
All right. Thank you very much for that presentation. I know it was very preliminary and high level, being that it's early, but we appreciate getting the conversation going early. I don't have too much to say because of the fact that it's very early. The only thing that I will say or comment on was one of the slides that stuck out to me was one of the things we're going to have to deal with is rising energy costs, rising utilities. So all the more reason why this new bond is so important, because those increasing energy costs are probably not going away for a while. So improving our infrastructure for more efficiencies is a good way to sort of combat those energy prices. So that stuck out to me, and all the more reason why that work is really important in this new bond. So a little plug for the bond there on February 15th. That's the only comment that I had. Lori?
I just had one comment. Is there you sent out a flyer to all of our school community about the budget. Is there a PDF of that can also, if parents want to email it out, they can email it out?
You're talking about the referendum?
For the referendum.
Yeah, we could get you a PDF of it.
Okay,
We'll
then
get
that'll
that.
be good, because some parents have
Or we could
asked.
send it actually
Maybe
in a
just
blast.
I know it's difficult to put a lot of information
Yeah.
in a short little
Right.
post, but maybe just a flyer that just gives the date and maybe a link to the
Right.
more detailed
So
information.
we have been trying to do that through the happenings, but maybe just a separate a
Yeah.
separate email that
Something for
says.
social media.
Yeah. and-
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That would be
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
It'd be very generic, and then you
Right,
click
and
for more
because there's a
details.
lot to click on in our. And
Yeah, you
there's-
can't put all that information.
And
in
there
a small
is
box.
a lot of, and I know a lot of people have been watching, because I can see how many people are watching the
Good.
podcasts.
That's great.
And the principal's coffees. I think people are taking a lot of initiative on their own time to watch all the presentations that we've put forth.
It's terrific.
Anybody else?
I had one other
Okay.
thing. I'm looking ahead positively. And so I was hoping that we could do something, or at least think about, when the space here at the middle school and high school is completed, perhaps we can have like an open house and invite our school community to come in and take a tour.
Great idea, and absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Yeah,
And,
great.
do we have any updates? Or
Yes,
do
we
want-
do. You want to update?
Yeah,
good.
so the cafeteria will be open for students February 2nd.
Yay.
I know it's exciting Thursday. And, but we will have some temporary furniture, temporary lighting. There will still be some punch list items that will be done after hours, but the space is open, it's functional for our students. Our Mark is preparing, they're going to be ready to go for the kids.
great.
That's
And
really
we're
great
so
news.
exciting.
Excellent.
That's great.
Even with the temporary furniture, like the chair, we have our permanent chairs, so it's really
Oh,
exciting.
oh, the chairs
there's
are the ones that we're having. Okay,
Yes,
that's
and
great.
there are some really cool features that I think the
we'll
kids are going to
surprise them
love.
with.
I
Yes.
mean,
Oh, that's great.
It's exciting.
It's really cool.
Sorry.
All right.
It's
Well, great
exciting.
job by you guys getting it done. I
And
know
the
a couple weeks ago
library-
we were a little worried about it.
Yeah,
so-
and what the
Yes.
library?
The library, definitely by the end of February, we're hoping sooner. We're
Yeah.
trying to really push them to get it to the second week or the third week.
Yes.
So we'd like the second.
It's
but
coming along.
It's coming along. The
really
library is really
quickly.
spectacular.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome.
Love that.
That's
Really
great.
cool.
Very
That's great.
modern,
A lot has
very
happened.
state of the
Good
art.
news. Good news. It's good to hear.
It's great.
Yeah, and to Lori's point, it would be nice for the community to see that. I mean, the kids come home and tell them, but, they're the ones that are, watching and voting.
And paying the bill.
And
Yes.
paying the bill.
Exactly.
That's right, yeah.
We will be
That's
doing
right.
that. We will be doing that.
That's right.
Exciting.
All right. Okay, let's move on to our business of the board. So, Robin, you're challenging my 50-year-old eyes with this font, but I see your challenge, and I'm going to hit it straight on. You want to know why? Because the
you want-
lighting's pretty good.
Glasses?
No, I'm good. I'll be all right. I can do it.
Having issues, and there was nothing I could do.
It's all right. I'm not giving in to my age. All right. First item is approve an agreement. Resolved that the Board of Education of the Tuckahoe Union Free School District hereby approves an agreement between the Learning Shop Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $5,000 for homebound instruction performed in the 2022-2023 school year. Do I have a motion? Lori, second Cynthia. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Great. Next, approve an MOA. Resolved that the Board of Education at Tuckahoe Union Free School District hereby approves the memorandum of agreement dated January 24, 2023 by and between the district and the Tuckahoe Teachers Association as attached to the official minutes of this meeting and authorizes the superintendent to execute the same. Do I have a motion? Lori, second. Cynthia, any discussion on that? All in favor? All right, another MOA. Resolved that the Board of Education of Tuckahoe Union Free School District hereby approves the memorandum of agreement dated January 26, 2023 between the district and the CSEA as attached to the official minutes of this meeting and authorizes the superintendent to execute the same. Do I have a motion? Lori, second. Laura, any discussion on that? All in favor? Okay. Approve an agreement. Resolved that the Board of Education approves an agreement with the Westchester County Board of Elections for voting machines for the February 15th, 2023 bond proposition vote. Do I have a motion? Cynthia, second. Lori, any discussion on that? All in favor? Okay. Amend the resolution. Resolved that the Board of Education approves the amendment of Resolution G6 from the October 17, 2022 Board of Education meeting, increasing the not-to-exceed amount of transfer from the estate of Lillian Kurtz Fund to $23,000, the not-to-exceed amount of the general fund revenue budget, line A2705, gifts and donations, to $44,000, and the not-to-exceed amount of general fund budget appropriation line A2110.400-02-1001, regular school contractual high school SAT prep to $44,000 for the high school SAT prep courses. Do I have a motion? Lori, second. Laura. So this is obviously just to allocate the funds needed for the tutoring, right?
To increase it, because we had a lot more interest in the program.
okay.
So,
That's good.
yeah, we had to increase our regular not-to-exceed amount up to
To
$44,000.
accommodate more participation.
Yes, and
That's a
it's
good-
funded by
yeah.
two different funds. So one is depleted, so the Kurtz Fund still has some funds
Yeah.
remaining, so we're taking it from there. But next year, we really have to look at,
Right.
we might not be able to fund it for next year.
Yeah,
We could
I
probably
think we would
fund it
think
for
we would
next
have one more year,
but-
but now with using more this year, maybe
Yeah.
we may run a little short.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's good news and bad news. Okay. All in favor? Okay. All right. Where am I? Amended resolution again, right? Yeah. Resolved that the Board of Education approves the amended resolution G.7 from the October 17, 2022 Board of Education meeting, increasing the not-to-exceed amount of the agreement with Jumpstart Tutoring to $44,000. Same thing. Do I have a motion? Cynthia, second. Laura? All in favor? Okay. Great. Accept the bid. Whereas by resolution adopted at its meeting held on October 22nd, 2022, the Board of Education of Tuckahoe Union Free School District declared various toner cartridges owned by the school district to be obsolete. And whereas the Board of Education Policy 6900 authorizes the disposal of obsolete or surplus equipment and supplies owned by the Tuckahoe Union Free School District through a board-approved public online auction site. And whereas the toner cartridges were the subject of a public online auction from January 13, 2023 through January 13th, 2023 through January 25th, 2023, conducted by Auctions International Incorporated. And whereas the auction closed on January 25th, 2023, the highest bid for the toner cartridges was $580, submitted by Pierre Ampry, Electrade Plus. Okay. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of Tuckahoe Union Free School District authorizes the acceptance of the bid in the amount of $580 for the purchase of toner cartridges by Pierre Ampry Electrade Plus, and to the extent applicable, authorizes payments of the portion of the commission owed to Auctions International Incorporated by the school district, and be it further resolved that the superintendent of schools and the school district business manager are authorized and directed to take all action necessary and to sign all documents required to implement the purpose of this resolution. I have a motion? Cynthia, second. Lori, any discussion on that? All in favor? Great.
I'm sorry.
Accept the donation. Whereas the Tuckahoe Union Free School District has been informed of a donation to be made to the William E. Cottle Elementary School, and whereas the district would like to accept such donation, it is hereby resolved by the Board of Education to accept a donation from the Fordyce family of a 3D printer. Absolutely, that's really cool.
So, big thank you to the Fordyce family in their extremely generous donation of a 3D printer to the Cottle School. As an added hobby during the pandemic, the family purchased one printer, and seeing the interest and joy it brought their son Riley, they bought another one. They want to share the realization that 3D printing brings to students, showing them how they can turn their ideas into actual objects that they can touch and feel. We want to express our thanks to the Fordyce family for their wonderful and most generous donation. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Fordyce family. That's really awesome. Yeah. Do
Excellent.
you have a motion? Cynthia, second. Lori? All in favor? All right, thank you again. All right, now we have two policies that are being amended as per some updates to New York State law. First one, and this is the first reading of that policy. We're not going to read the policy. I'm just going to give an overview of what the changes are, and the policy itself is available on board docs if anyone wants to read it. So we're not motioning. We're just referencing the amended policy. So first one is policy number 0110. Topic is sexual harassment. Our current sexual harassment policy is one policy that addresses sexual harassment of students and employees. Due to the recent change in state law aimed at sexual harassment in the workplace, the district is required to separate this policy into three separate policies and regulations. One is the introductory statement, the next addresses sexual harassment of students, and the last addresses sexual harassment of employees. The new policies also change the wording from shall to will or must. So again, so that one policy is going to be broken up into 3 separate policies. So that is available to be read. So that's the new policies are going to be policy 0110, and then 0110.1, and then 0110.2. So those are available on board docs to read if you'd like. Next one is amending policy 0100, which is equal opportunity and non-discrimination policy. This policy is revised to reflect various amendments to the state executive law, education law, and civil rights law regarding protection against discrimination on the basis of traits associated with race. The policy also offers a blanket notice of non-discrimination of all legally protected classes, addressing public notification requirements and setting up a grievance procedure for allegations of civil rights violations. It also addresses website accessibility for persons with disabilities. So again, that policy is available, the new policy, the updated policy is available to be reviewed, and it's 0100. Okay, and our last item on the business of the board is number 11, which is approve elections inspectors. Resolved that the Board of Education approves 2 head inspectors at $15 an hour and 10 election inspectors at $14 an hour for the Westchester County maintained list of election inspectors for the February 15, 2023 bond proposition election. Do I have a motion? Lori, second Cynthia. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Okay. And that brings us to personnel recommendations. Resolved that the Board of Education of Tuckahoe Union Free School District approves personnel action items A through D as outlined below. Do we have a motion for that? Laura, second Cynthia. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Okay. That's it. Brings us to the end of our meeting. I have a motion to adjourn. Cynthia, second. Laura, all in favor? All right. Thank you very much. Actually, no, yeah, that's good. We're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, and we'll see you next. We have one more meeting before the 15th, right?
Right, we have next Monday.
Yeah, that's right. Good. Okay, perfect. All right.